President Trump's push to reopen the country. It comes as key polls find him trailing presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden. Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett is with us now. He's the host of not one but two podcasts, The Takeout and Debriefing the Briefing. Major, good morning. I want to talk about those polls we just mentioned. The president's self-review of the administration's response to the virus has been favorable, but voters may have a different opinion. What's the mood right now in the White House?
So the president is relentlessly upbeat. That's his nature. But the poll numbers that can be viewed publicly and internally within the Republican National Committee and the Trump campaign paint a very different picture. So let's take a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is absolute political serenity. 10 is a 5-alarm fire. It's about an 8 inside the White House right now because the president knows he's being judged, as everyone in public life is being judged, on handling the pandemic and charting the course for the country to reopen. And the mood and the verdict is so far net negative, and the president's trying to find ways to reverse that. He's having a much harder time than he imagined, and political advisors close to the president know it.
We have tens of thousands of Americans dead, tens of millions of Americans out of work, but the president is saying this is going to go away. He wants to get back to normal, and the country will get back to normal. What's behind that strategy?
That things can be the way they were. What does President Trump want to return to? He wants to return to a place where he thought he was, if not a shoo-in to re-election, someone who had a very good path toward re-election. Why? Because he had a strong economy beneath him. And much of this political anxiety, Tony, is related entirely to anxiety about the future of the U.S. economy. Because the president now knows, even though he said on Monday, oh, the third quarter is going to be spectacular. No, he started to say yesterday and the day before, it's going to be transitional. He's been advised the third quarter, which is the quarter that leads right into the November 3rd election, is going to be very dire indeed. So the president is trying to find some way to pump up the psychic enthusiasm about the economy, even though the numbers in the third quarter and the second quarter are probably going to be very, very bad.
Yeah, the economy was going to be his biggest selling point going into re-election. He's also turned his political rhetoric, his fire against China. Initially, he praised the country for its response to the virus. Now he is turning that into criticism. What's he hoping to gain there with American voters?
China was a big issue in 2016, probably underappreciated by Republicans who challenged Donald Trump during the primaries and by the Hillary Clinton campaign and by Democrats in the 2016 general election. It is almost like immigration, potent, simple, and easy to define for the president, largely on his terms. It's going to be up to the country to have an intelligent conversation about China. You can't say China did do nothing wrong. China did several things wrong. It did not disclose what it knew early enough to alert the world. That's a significant factual problem. To talk about a lab doesn't necessarily mean it was man-made. It could have been studied, as would be appropriate in China, to study avian viruses. But that doesn't mean it's man-made. Did it escape? We don't know yet. But to have that intelligent conversation is going to be harder and harder, and a fueled political environment where the president is going to try to make China, if not a scapegoat, at least an excuse for some of the things that he missed early on in dealing with this pandemic.
All right, and all this a reminder that in the midst of this pandemic, we are nonetheless less than 6 months away from a presidential election. Major Garrett, thank you very much.